Are we rolling? All right. Down we go.
This is Radio Tetris International, a postcard from Poprad.
I think it's a bizarre idea.
Well, it doesn't sound broken.
We've had a bit of a rewind.
Ian, I've got something to say. I was waiting for my moment.
Lee and I have lots of fun when we do these funny little things that we do.
In all honesty, I don't get it.
It'll be like a menage a trois.
I'm actually sitting here in my scanties.
Now see what you've done, Rachel.
I've got to tell you, though, it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, right.
Absolutely not. It's because you mended the studio and you broke everything.
What an idiot.
RTI.
That'll be us then. Radio Tetris International, postcard from Poprad on a gloriously sunny Friday. The weekend is upon us. It's definitely there. The weekend is upon us, and we will be fabulous. I hope this week, after last week, which was pretty horrendous, to say the least, wasn't it?
Well, it was really, but it was very funny, apparently, to be watching you crawling under the desk on the remnants of Facebook. Yeah, it was really dramatic. Honestly, if anybody saw it in the office, it just exploded.
It did.
I know.
It went whiz, pop, bang.
I know, and everybody laughed apart from Eric.
In fact, the whole mixer went puff.
Well, yes, you shouldn't mix with anyway. But
Yes.
No, it was. It was very sad to see the Urbane, the Mr. Cool, Mr. Wiltshire in almost a blind panic.
What? No, I wasn't in a blind panic. I was in a controlled panic. But there again, how many radio stations do you know where the entire studio blows up?
It was funny.
And 12 minutes later it's back again. I mean, that's not bad, is it?
It wasn't bad. And I got you a new mixer.
Eh?
I went and got you a new mixer.
I thought that was Stefan.
That was me, you cheeky monkey.
It were you.
I helped, and yet I got ignored again.
Oh, never mind. Hello, Dave. How you doing, man?
All right, Dave.
Yeah. Hi. We got so many to say hello to, and I must do some of these. Hello to Chuck and Tommy. Tommy? Are in the States listening at the moment.
Is that Tommy?
Tommy.
Oh, Tommy.
David the Panda's there, as always. Zoe's there. And who else have we got? The Awesome Mark is there. He's there quite a lot, actually. Hello to Craggle. I like that. Hello, Craggle. That's a nice name. Hola. I wonder if that's hello or just hello.
The name.
Bandar is there. The games admin is there. Okay, cool.
Ooh.
Hello to Paul. And who else have we got down here? John Mack's there. John Mack's there quite a lot. Hello to Greg as well. And Vincent. Yes, Vincent's in the house, as are so many others, including Mohammed, who just goes H. I think that means hi. And Sam, he just says hi as well, which is kind of cool. And is this working now? Oh, very droll.
Yeah, very funny.
Very funny. Oh, ha. Mr. Man. He's been very, very good this week. Yes.
He actually has. I'll tell you what.
It's been enjoyable debating things with him on Facebook.
Because he's been being sensible about things and making very good points.
Well, yes.
Well done, Mr. Man.
Yeah, Mr. Man gets his gold star this week.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that.
Silver?
His red star.
Very good. I like that. So anyway, it's been a fun week. Hope you've had a great week. Stefan should be here, but he's not yet.
No, he's not here. Look.
He's blind emptiness.
It's just me and you.
Oh, no.
What we're going to talk about?
I don't know.
Nothing to say, really.
And if you are listening on Facebook, I do apologise. There is a little bit of noise on it today.
That's him.
That's because we're on... That's him. That's because we're on our backup.
Backup. Oh, I just kicked my
backup.
microphone, sorry.
You did as well, didn't you? On our backup mixer until the new one arrives. No, we're not feeling very well. What? I'm being praised, says Steve. Are you guys feeling well?
Yes.
We're actually both in very good moods. What's the matter with you?
I'm in an incredible mood. I've had a great burden lifted today.
Oh, go on, tell the story.
My headlights are coming.
My headlights are coming. Actually, I've got an important announcement to make re-Brexit. Not the subject itself, but oh, ha, Dave. I'll do that in a minute. We've had a word with the foreign police in Slovakia, and because they're not sure what's happening with Brexit. They've suspended issuing the full-term residence cards or ID cards out to the British citizens that have been here for 10 years or more. That's not to say you're not going to get them, but they're waiting until they can get the dates right so that they can fill the dates in right so it all corresponds with Brexit. So don't go running over there now. That's not to say if you're like Lee and recently joined the Slovak community that you should go over there and get your ID card, yes.
It's only the 10-year one.
Yeah, it's the over 10 years, people.
I can understand that. That's just administration, isn't it?
It's an admin thing. Dave says, something quite worrying about listening to you online on my phone while on the top deck of a red double-decker bus in central London. You're having a go at me now, aren't you?
No, your electric car.
No, he's having a go at me because I embarrassed him one day, and it was by pure fluke. I went round to Dave's work because we were going over to the radio station that we then worked on. Yeah. And he said, I hope you don't mind, we're catching a bus, because I said, we'll get a cab. Yeah. And he said, no, we get a bus. I went, what? I haven't been on a bus for decades. And that was the last time I was on a bus anyway.
I like buses.
Well, we got on top of this, you know, the London buses, the big red ones.
Not a bus conductress.
No, it was one of them big buses, you know. I don't know what you call them. Anyway.
Double-decker?
Yeah, double-decker. That's the one. So
not a bendy bus?
No, not a bendy bus. It was a proper double-decker. And so I phoned somebody up. I said, here, I'm on the top of a big red bus. And it got worse and worse. And Dave's trying to hide. And it reminded me of the Jasper Carrot sketch. Have you ever sat on a bus next to the nutter who starts shouting?
All the time.
Yeah, and Dave was like going, oh, God, no more, shut up. And the more he looked sort of really sort of panicky.
You became the nutter.
I became the nutter and louder. And all the passengers were looking at me.
Can I pass
and Dave's going, I'm not with him. No, it's nothing to do with me. He's got the spam. He's the one pretending it's, you know, an explosive device. It's nothing to do with me. Anyway, yes.
Can I pass a message on to
you can pass a message on
our Slovak listeners?
Okay.
Because I've tried hard again to learn more phrases in Slovak.
Oh no, he was doing this Wednesday night. I apologise in advance.
No, that's how I'm learning. People in Slovakia are being very kind and helping me to learn. Yeah. And I'm getting some children's books where it has pictures of dogs and the name of what it is.
Right. So Anna, dobrý den, Anna. Ako sa máš? Dobrý bornie. Please, Anna, you are allowed to comment on Lee's attempt, which is coming up right now, of his new Slovak phrase for the week.
Okay, here we go. This is me. I am sending a message to our Slovak friends. Potopila sati lod.
Okay, yeah, right, okay. It was a route master. Thanks, Dave. That would be fab, actually. Be cool.
Diva pohari červené víno.
Could you talk into your microphone when you do that? It's like that, dear.
That frightens me when I see that looking at me like that.
Well, if you want to sound all tinny in Essex, you talk over the side. Right. If you want to sound butch, talk in the front.
Diva pohari červené víno.
I bet Petra's out there in hysterics in the office right now.
Milujem ta.
What you say? You telling her you love her? Were you telling me I love her?
I was telling you I love you.
Yeah, okay. We move on.
Okay, that's it.
Back to it. Tim Fisher, the Carnival Deputy PM of Australia, who's actually quite a good egg as it goes. Yeah. He's died at the age of 73. He was a New South Wales farmer of German extraction, apparently.
And he championed railway and gun control, so you couldn't shoot trains.
Do you want to turn the fan off?
Not really.
Turn it off. No, actually, he was really good about that. He was one of these people like the lady in... get Petra to say it. Oh, stop it.
What?
They want Petra to say I love you on the radio.
Yeah, go on, Petra.
Come on, Petra.
Should I get her?
If you want.
Right, hang on.
Oh, God.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Anyway, he was very good at of controlling gun laws in Australia, rather like the lady Prime Minister down in New Zealand. That's the one. Right.
Oh, it's all right. Stefan's here.
Oh, Stefan's here as well. He was a national serviceman as well. He was wounded in Vietnam. And he also became a champion of veterans' rights. And it really did annoy some people. But the fact is...
Who are you on about now?
Same guy, Tim Fisher.
Oh, you're still going on about him? He's dead, you know.
Well, because I know, but he was a good egg.
He was a good egg.
Yeah, he was a fab egg. And Stefan's walked in and he's shutting the door. We're all going to swelter then.
Yeah, no, leave the door open.
Leave the door open.
Yeah.
What do you mean breaking news on the BBC? Opposite parties to refuse election requests. Well, of course they will.
Because they don't. Because they're
going to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's going to lose in this situation. It really is. This is where Britain's boat has sunk.
Yeah, they're all nanas, and they're all just... The bottom line is, chaps, that forget all the politics out of this.
No.
They're only interested in their own wage packet.
Yeah, of course they are.
And the truth of that is a lot of them will lose it when there's an election. Hello, Stefan.
Hello, Stefan.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, you're not on.
Hang up.
Are you on? 1, 2. Oh, no, it's not. That bit's working. You might have to push one of these. Is that one working? No. Ooh,
Yeah, Stefan, my new Slovak phrase while he mends your thing. Potapilla. What's I read it now? Potapilla sati. God.
Your ship has sunken.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what it means?
Yeah.
I thought it meant to be happy by the seaside.
No.
No.
Milogenta.
Oh, thank you very much. Me too.
Yeah.
I love myself as well.
Anyway, Stefan's microphone is now working. I just had to turn him up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Hi, everybody.
Can I just say
Yes.
that he also invented the first saint in the only saints actually in Australia, as far as I'm aware. They're all criminals. Mary MacKillop.
That's true. Award-winning producer and songwriter Sean Daniels has been...
How can he win awards?
Because he was brilliant.
How can he be brilliant? He wrote songs for, like, the Spice Girls. And, well, Lady Gaga's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, no, go on then, all right. He wrote for Destiny's Child as well, that's bad.
They are brilliant, popular pop songs.
They're just pop songs that just pop along and then pop off.
No, that's why they still get played on the radio now.
No, it's because the people who do radio schedules have got no intelligence at all and don't know anything about music. All they know about is the 10 songs that the BBC play.
No, I haven't. Do you know I haven't listened to the BBC for ages?
I listened to it this morning. It's crap.
Excuse me?
It's rubbish.
Thank you. Anyway, The Boy Is Mine, Holler by the Spice Girls, great track that. Telephone by Lady Gaga and Beyonce.
That was good.
That was all right.
But you had
Say My
Beyonce.
Name, Destiny's Child. That was, well, the video was good.
No, it wasn't.
Maybe that's why I'm impressed with it, the video.
Oh, I know what you mean now.
Yes, like Pan's People to you, because you're old.
I went out with one of Pan's people. That's how old I am.
Well, there you go.
I actually
that says it all, really, doesn't it? I mean, flip me neck. What about Skippy? He was the saint. I like that one. We have to cover this because it's part of history.
Well, it's history, yeah.
And enough will be said about it. None. Robert Mugabe, the former president of Zimbabwe, which was previously a Rhodesian country and run by the Commonwealth, who was ousted from power in a military coup after ruling the African nation for about 4 decades or so. He's died, and
Would he be missed?
no.
No, I don't think. Would he be missed, Stefan?
No, I don't miss Mr. Robert Mugabe.
No.
He's just one of that old lot who there's still a few of them left.
There are.
We suffered some of the idiots here who had taken pop at journalists and things like that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're a dying breed, and thank the Lord for that.
And this one's died.
Yes.
No,
Terence Dick, the prolific novelist and script editor, who he was the guy. What a guy this bloke was. He was the guy who ushered in John Pertwee into Doctor Who. What a stroke of genius that was. What a stroke of genius.
He didn't bring John Pertwee into it. He wrote the part that John Pertwee took on.
Yeah, but he
created the character.
Yeah, exactly.
John Pertwee.
John Pertwee just fitted that character.
Yes.
And, that is a stroke of genius. That was a stroke of genius. The rest of it, don't give a monkey's uncle.
No, I thought it was a bit rubbish, Doctor Who, actually.
John Pertwee was a brilliant Doctor Who.
I didn't say John Pertwee was rubbish. I said Doctor Who was rubbish.
Well, you just have no taste.
It was like it was just like Crossroads, but in a telephone box.
So give me one of your favourite programmes.
The Sopranos.
The Sopranos. How many people have written songs about The Sopranos?
Loads of people.
Written songs about
About The Sopranos?
Yeah.
John Cooper Clarke.
Never heard of him.
Chicken Town.
Never heard of him.
I've forgotten the name now, but the American band of Hell's Angels. They had
nothing.
A song. The Sopranos was brilliant. We've just watched a brilliant series called No God.
I agree. Lee's got no taste. I totally agree. Anyway, when you think of doctoring the TARDIS,
yeah,
a brilliant track.
How can that be a brilliant track? It was a load of rubbish.
Because
again.
millions of people bought
it. Stupid pop.
Here speaks the music critic. Doesn't like the track that millions of people
Excuse
bought.
me, I was a music critic on the Daily Mirror.
Exactly. Says it all, really, doesn't it? Rubbish newspaper, rubbish critic. No, but
yeah,
actually,
Mr. Man, your paper's rubbish.
No, actually, I think you're one of the people I used to read.
I'm sure you are.
I was, yes. Because it was a standard rule. If he liked it, I won't. If he didn't like it, I'd just go and buy it.
Yeah. What about Red Right Hand? What about, Peaky Blinders? I could even do the accent.
No.
That's London.
That's London. It's the wrong place. Anyway,
all right.
Poor old Terence Dix has passed away at the grand old age of 84. Franco Colombo was the strongest man in the 1970s. I think he was not only a friend, but he also was a challenger against Arnold Schwarzenegger, if I remember right. Weren't they in the same competitions together?
They were both in a powerlifting competition in 1965, I think. And he was only 5'5", and Arnold Schwarzenegger was 7'3", and so he didn't have as far to lift the weights. You see, so it was a bit unfair.
All right. Tim says, "Hi guys." Well, hello, Tim.
Hello, Tim.
Nice to have you with us,
Nice to have you, Tim.
It was a KLF under the name of the Time Lords. Yeah, I know, Dave. It was a brilliant track.
What was?
Doctor in the TARDIS.
Doctor in the TARDIS.
Look, you see, he knows straight away it was KLF.
Yeah, it was a very funny thing. We were discussing yesterday that actually...
Doctor Who. Yeah, Doctor Who. What?
That the time continuum warp, right?
Yeah.
Means that you can actually travel in time. You can travel upwards and downwards.
Theoretically, you can. Anyway.
Theoretically, you can. Yeah. And actually, but just like Doctor Who, it's totally implausible and rubbish. Why would you travel about in a police phone box? He was from a different era. He was in a police phone box. Why didn't he go by car? Why didn't he do something sensible? Why didn't he have a bus? Or why didn't he have a car?
You mean he's going to sort of go, hang on, Marty, can you bring the car over for me, please?
Yeah.
From Back to the Future?
Exactly. Why a phone box?
Hello, Mark in Australia.
Idiot.
Mark, I have to say, congratulations, sir.
Mark.
I was listening to Mark's programme down in Oz, and he had this wonderful lady on who's got a terminal illness. She's 28.
Yeah.
Her life expectancy is 35.
Right.
And she's raising money. So if you can find Mark Flanagan on Facebook or the Retro Rock Live, have a look on there. Because I'm sure Mark will have links up to helping raising money for these poor people that are suffering the way this young lady is. And when you think about it, you're 28 and your brain says, I should live till I'm 80. Yeah. But your body says you got about 7 years.
What's she suffering from? What is it?
It was something like an MS type thing,
right? Which
I don't remember all the details of. But Mark, it was a really, really powerful interview. And I rarely do, as you know, do this.
Yeah.
But it was such a fabulous interview. And what Mark did that made it better is instead of sort of having the girl break into tears, he actually tried to coach her up with positiveness.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a star you are, Mark. A brilliant interview.
Mark, if you want to, if you fancy it, send us a transcript, or send us a recording of the interview. And
we've got one here, you numpty.
Mark, don't send us a copy of the interview because we've got one here. No, I just thought it might be nice for him to do something, and we could use it on.
Thanks, Mark. Cystic fibrosis.
Thank you. Yeah, let's do something on that on the Consumer Watch Foundation, Mark, because
if we can help you raise some money for the young lady on the website, Mark, we'll do it.
Definitely.
So get in touch. We'll exchange some bits across, and we'll let Lee write it up as well for the young lady because she deserves it. She absolutely deserves it. I mean, what a brilliant lady. Of course, it is more... Well, it's afternoon here, Mark. It's probably evening.
It's breakfast time.
Yeah, breakfast time? No, it's night time where Mark is.
No, I meant here.
It's not breakfast time.
Of course it is. I've not had breakfast yet.
Well, it's because you don't get up in time, you nana.
I know, I miss breakfast every day.
No, we've got it all right, Mark, so don't worry about the recording.
Yeah, do it, mate, do it. Yeah, we've got the recording.
Yeah.
He'll cut it up for me, and I'll have a listen, and let's do something on it.
Right.
If you've got any pictures of us, send us some pictures as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So our best wishes go to the young lady. Fantastic interview. Share it on a place that Lee hasn't mentioned yet.
ConsumerWatchFoundation.com.
That came in me before you mentioned it, though. He was there before you. He was there before you.
Naughty Stefan's looking at pictures of young ladies.
Yeah, I do.
Naughty boy.
Yeah.
Naughty. No, don't you look. You'll have a heart attack.
I'm looking at Karen Gillan.
Who's she?
Oh, he is, honestly, boys and girls. He's looking.
Doctor's assistant.
Yes.
And the best doctor ever was David, what's his name? David Tennant.
David Tennant. That's all my... Actually, I've got to admit, that's all my fault.
What is?
Well, when we moved house, we decluttered as well.
Yeah.
And I found all these sci-fi toys like Doctor Who's TARDIS, which makes noises and all sorts of stuff. And I thought that Stefan's son, Simon, would actually rather like because he likes sci-fi. So I go all over there. He's now into Doctor Who like there's no tomorrow.
That's good, it says for children.
Sorry, I do. You know, as I've said many times, I only found him on a street corner, and he was collecting money for a young lady.
And he's kept me
ever since.
Kept me in here.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
Which Steve?
Steve Melrose.
Steve Melrose. Hello, Steve Melrose.
Of course. Now we move on. We are moving on. We are moving on to a pet subject of mine. I'll move the cursor.
Go on, thank you.
He's so lazy today.
Right, this is,
Yeah. A survey's been taken by a respected computer group.
Yeah.
No, not computer group. Consumer group, that's the word I was trying to find. Anyway, what they did, which is really cool, they actually started to check up and double check the reviews that were put onto TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not taking a permanent pop at TripAdvisor as such, but I will explain some other bits in a while. Now, what they did is they looked at almost 250,000 reviews on top sites that ranked hotels, only to find out that a load of them were a load of rubbish. And some of them were given red badges, which is not so good, when they didn't justify them, because that gives you a warning on TripAdvisor, which I have to confess I've never used. But again, that's just me. A lot of 5-star reviews were a complete load of old rubbish. And on it went. Now, the funny thing is, it seemed to be more controlled in America than it is in the UK, but it makes no odds. There are a whole bunch of fake reviews, not just on TripAdvisor, but on many, many of these websites. And the reason is they are complaint controlled. So in other words, they don't check anything before they publish it. They just let it go up, and then if somebody complains, they do something about it. And of course, the TripAdvisor person said that the problems that had been reported to them, unfortunately, on this rare occasion, no, so they always put on this rare occasion, that matters were not managed effectively within the time frame, and we've taken appropriate action to ensure this does not happen again. Absolute rubbish! You nuns. You want us to believe that? Now, this goes for a whole bunch of them that are up there, where you've got the various sites where you can go on there and you can put reviews up. And the amount of fake ones I found over the years is horrendous. And initially, most of them, including Facebook, do nothing about them. Now, that brings me purposely onto a little project I've had on my own this week. And the project has concerned looking at adverts. Not that I bought anything, not that I have any intention of buying anything, but what struck me very quickly was that you'd have these fan pages that they open on Facebook, and the only reason they open them is to make it easier for them to place adverts on Facebook. When you go there, they've got like 8 or 10 fans, nothing else. You'll also find on the right-hand side, down the bottom of the column, that they've got links to other sites. And you'll never believe what you find.
What?
They're all the same company.
I know what you mean. Can I just say something, interrupting you a little bit?
Yes.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. The ConsumerWatchFoundation.com next week is going to be publishing about this TripAdvisor thing, based on the fact that we have a new section called Hotels Hell. And the illustrious Andrea and I have travelled extensively across Britain and Europe investigating hotels and how poor the service in hotels is. And really, we've noticed on TripAdvisor how awful hotels are getting incredible reviews. But the funny thing is...
Do you know why?
Because they're doing their own.
No, there's actually companies out there which advertise on places like social media, saying, if you've got bad reviews on we are here to help you. Yeah. And they go in, of course, they get a wonderful stay. It's all done quite legitimately. Yeah. And then they post from everybody and their auntie, all the people in the family, the group that go there. So you end up burying the bad stuff with new good stuff. And it's not real.
Well, when I was a travel writer, that's basically what we were paid to do. We were taken on by hotels, countries, governments to visit their places. But what we started to do, and this was on the Mirror again, is we started to tell the truth about the places. And we stopped being invited.
Funny that,
People
isn't it?
hate the truth, don't they?
Well, I can tell you that mellow cultures...
Yeah.
will hate the truth.
Yeah.
Because...
mellow cultures.
Yeah, it says on Facebook, on my thingy, you anonymously reported mellow cultures. And I'm not going to be anonymous about it because I've got this thing going now where I'm going to report them all. And the advert had nothing to do with mellow cultures whatsoever. Hi to Urban, who's just joined us for the first time.
Is that Keith?
Keith Urban, very funny. After the second go, when I said, excuse me, this is all wrong, Facebook says, we've removed the ad you reported as it violated our ad policies. And then there was another one called Asian Folklore. and they were flogging something completely unrelated to Asian folklore. So I told them again, and within seconds, yesterday, they removed it again.
Here's one then. You ready?
I could be.
I want to know how to remove this. I had a bit of a tiff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, only a conversation where the person who had diametrically opposed political views to me and didn't understand my political views got so angry, so incensed that I had a political point of view that he went to the Consumer Watch Foundation and downgraded its ratings. Funnily enough, the ratings fell by I don't know, a percentage, and the way he'd done it is by saying that the Consumer Watch Foundation tells only the truth. What an idiot! He actually complimented us, but our ratings dropped
because he would have reported something.
So
then all you've got to do is write to Facebook on the reporting thing.
I've done that
with the URL at the top.
I didn't put that in.
Yeah. How are they supposed to know out of millions of pages which is the one you're complaining about?
Well, because they've got robots.
No.
Oh, all right. I'll do it again then.
I think you should.
Thank you very much.
Hello, darling Andrea.
Is that Andrea what I know?
Yes.
Hello.
She's having a wonderful relax at the moment.
Is she?
Well, she pays me well.
Do you know what she did?
No, she pays.
Can I tell her what she did?
She pays me well.
What for?
Keeping you here.
Keeping my ear?
Keeping you here on a Friday.
I've got to tell the ladies and gentlemen what she did earlier this week.
Yes.
We had a little tiff, didn't we, darling?
Yes.
Little tiff, little lovers tiff. And I was like a bit upset and was sulking a bit because I'm really good at sulking. And so what she did, as we were out shopping, she took all the food out of a basket and put it all back on the shelves and flounced off. So I went and got myself a kebab.
She didn't. She just floated
she
away.
She did a flounce. And I went and got myself a kebab. And so I had my tea. She went home with no food and nearly died of starvation.
You horrible person. You horrible person. Was Lee on the Mirror? Or when Lee was on the Mirror, did he ever recommend stocks? He does that all the time. He does that all the time.
Oh, you pierced me to the heart.
he's
got me right in the Morgan.
He's got a definite set of yolks in his flat.
What's it?
Yolks.
Yolks? Eggs?
You know, the one that you put your neck in.
Oh, that, yeah.
Stocks. Yeah. Oh.
To be fair, let's give the man his due. He resigned over it, didn't he?
Oh, dear. Never mind, Dave.
Stocks. Oh, I get it now. Got it.
Oh, you are quick today, aren't you? Facebook is trying to play Cupid, which is worrying quite a few people. They've launched this service in 19 countries, including Canada and Brazil. And be careful, chaps. It's coming to Europe next year. Ooh. Apparently the service is free, and it's a dating service.
Yeah.
And you put your preferences in there, da-di-da-di-da, and they check through Facebook activity, and the app allows you to send a like and a message to any profile they think is of value to you. Now, what you've got to be careful of is 10 to 1, somebody who's an idiot trying to get money out of people or scamming them for something will use this service. So by all means, I'm not telling you not to use it, but just be incredibly careful when you do.
Why is everybody getting so many friend requests on Facebook at the moment? I'm getting about 10 a day.
It depends on who and where they're from.
Yeah.
But it is true to say that the spammers are really pushing their game at the minute.
Yeah,
they really are.
It's a lot from the Philippines, a lot from.
And I presume you do report them as fake accounts?
No, they're on me. I've got millions of friends now.
Ooh.
Nice.
You're only allowed 5,000 anyway.
Well, I've got 5,000 then. This is a good story coming up. And you can read it in the Consumer Watch Foundation.
This is very true. So just be careful when this thing comes across to Europe, and for our friends in America, Canada, and all across the Americas.
It's disgusting, really.
Yeah, just be careful. I don't think the idea is disgusting. It can't be. because
it's just that Facebook's interfering in every aspect of your life.
I know for a fact there are some people listening, and I know for a fact that one couple actually ended up getting married because of the Radio Luxembourg Pen Pal Club.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know?
All this is pen pal stuff.
Oh, why? Of course it is. It is. Me and Andrea got together because a dating agency found out that we lived in the same house. I think I ruined that joke, actually.
Yeah, the tumbleweed went straight across the screen.
I think I told that joke wrong.
The tumbleweed went across the screen. HMRC are, and I quote, almost terrorists, as they went after a guy for £342,000 who is actually on state benefit.
Yeah.
And the judge has really kicked him.
Read about it, seriously.
No, over to Lee.
Read the lot.
Just give us a précis of what happened.
Well, it's wrong to say that they are terrorists. So the phrase that was used by the judge is ad terrorem,
yeah.
Which means that they have used tactics to scare or indeed terrorise people to get the money back. This bloke, who has, who's described as difficulties in many areas, which stops him really being able to work to any great extent. The tax people decided that he was selling used cars, and that he had not filled in any tax returns, which in fact is true, he hadn't. He was fairly culpable in this thing, but instead of looking into his background and finding out what had happened, they sent him massive bills, a bill for £342,000, and it was £272,000 plus £70,000 punishment, and they didn't bother. They just sent them, and they started to harass him. He ended up in a tribunal being represented by his 81-year-old dad. Now, the taxman had barristers there. How could this man beat them? And the tribunal, Quinton is called now, the judge, I can't remember his first name, Quinton, Judge Garant Jones, so he's got nothing to do with Quinton, has actually said that what they were doing was tantamount to using scare tactics.
Absolutely. We've got to say thank you to Emma, wherever you are, Emma. Lovely to have you with us, because she's just invited 1,492 of her friends to come and join the broadcast.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emma.
Very nice,
very nice
Emma.
of you, Emma. Very good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mark Taylor, the head of tax investigation and disputes, he said that there were safety nets within the HMRC were not working, and there was a lack of commercial experience at the authority. Lack? There's none. There's virtually nothing. Yeah. These people come out of flipping university, go in there, they have no real knowledge of what's going on in the real world, and all of a sudden they seem to know everything.
It's incredible, because if you remember, the taxman was the most hated man in the world, in every country.
No, I don't know.
They used to be. Then they cleaned up their act, and everybody didn't love the taxman. Nobody loves the taxman, but they became friendly. And I get emails off them all the time asking me for give them money, and I keep ignoring them and everything. But they now are reverting back to the biblical tactics that money lenders were supposed to use and the taxman took on board. They are acting despicably, and the Consumer Watch Foundation is going to be exposing more and more of this. Go there, read about it.
Yeah, exactly. You can find out all you want to know about the story on the Consumer Watch Foundation. Boris Johnson's attacked Jeremy Corbyn.
Hey, listening, Steve.
It was so funny, and he called him a big girl's blouse. I did laugh. It was so funny, and it was so Boris.
Well, it was,
because you can imagine Boris going, "He's your big girl's blouse," and the trouble with all. Let me just say, there is a problem with all of this. Now, I fully understand the Labour Party's position, which has been since the last election, that they would only enter into another election if Brexit was put on hold. and a no-deal thing was done. So I get that. But I'm sorry, that doesn't wash. If you want to be in charge, you don't lay down ground rules like that. And the truth is, the simple answer to the whole thing is just have a general election. Because it can be done in time, and then if Mr. Corbyn wins, he can decide what to do. If Mr. Johnson wins, he can decide what to do, and that's the end of it.
Isn't it a tragedy, though, that we've ended up reaching this point where that is probably the most likely outcome, that democracy has been ripped and torn to shreds?
But it hasn't.
It has.
No, it hasn't.
That's why you've had to have a general election in the middle of the
No, but the democracy hasn't been damaged.
It has.
No, people say that, but it actually hasn't, because
say
there's
that.
two things. First of all, the democracy of a vote that was taken as to whether the UK should stay in the EU or not. That's democracy. The second thing is the democratically elected representatives of the citizens of the UK are in Parliament. So they don't have to actually do what the referendum said, even though Mr. Cameron said they should. The fact is they are represented, and their job is to actually represent in the way they think best.
Yeah.
Whether that's right or wrong is another matter.
Yes, but there is a fact that if you go, what you've said is literally perfectly correct. Absolutely. But when people stop believing in the democratic system that put these people in power, and the people in power continue to operate that power, then it becomes a dictatorship. The problem is that people in Britain have stopped believing in democracy and are coming up with all these bizarre ideas of what democracy is. Democracy is that people have the vote, and if you win that vote, then you have the authority to do what you want. Everybody is trying to rip that apart, and right in the middle of a parliamentary period, we're now looking at having another general election. It's
we got a message from Steve saying rubbish. Boris could call an election and then delay it until after Brexit. Unfortunately, you got to keep up here, Steve. That was a joke, sorry. Because at the dispatch box, he actually said the election would be on the 15th of October.
Yeah.
So he said that, and the glorious thing for us is, because it's on one of the worldwide BBC things, we can all watch it here. So we know what's going on in the UK.
Yeah.
And he specifically said the 15th, because that would allow time for the new government, whoever that might be, to go to the Queen, form the government, but get a PM in, and then carry on before the 31st of October, when Brexit should or shouldn't go through, depending on who's saying whatever they want to say. So the fact is, it would have worked. I personally don't think that the opposition parties will not go for an election. And the reason being, too many of them will lose their seats.
I think that's absolutely true. But also the problem is, and this is where...
But I don't think Boris will get a full majority.
No, I don't. But I think the paucity of the whole situation is this, that the Corbynites have been demanding a general election. Demanding a general election. Then all of a sudden the opportunity comes up and they say, we don't want a general election now. That is just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous point. How can that show power? How can that show authority?
Well, that's always the problem. And the truth is, whether Mr. Corbyn said at the beginning, only if we have a no-deal agreement in the first place, either he was forgetting it, or people weren't listening to it, or it was just swept away under the basket. I don't know.
The general view is that people don't want a no-deal Brexit.
Correct.
Yeah, but how do we actually know that's true?
Guessing. Guessing,
exactly. So what right has Corbyn to say that we can only have a general election if we get rid of it? Maybe there's a lot of people who actually want it.
Could be.
I'm leaning back now.
You are, right? Are you having a relax now?
No, it's going to shout it.
And the fact is that if...
I know, I forgot.
And the truth is, if it is that you are passionate about one side of politics or the other, I understand while you will believe your leader. I get that.
Yeah.
But the fact is, when it goes out to the general public, that doesn't mean that A, they agree with you or the leader. It also means they don't necessarily hear you or the leader, and therefore they're making their minds up in a different way. And do you know the people to blame for that? The politicians, because they don't know how to communicate properly.
Well, that's right. Yeah, the politicians have been shown. This is what I'm saying about the destruction of democracy. I can't think of any politician at the moment I have any great respect for because of the way they've acted. I can't pick a name out at this minute and say, well, this politician has acted properly in these circumstances.
Well, the other question I'd like to ask is, which politicians are actually there in the country's interest more so than their own interest?
That, again, is a very, very good question. And is it not fair to say that actually the only politician who attack me, put me up against the wall and shoot me if you want, but Boris Johnson has gone hell for leather to give the country what it voted for? I'm not saying he's done it right. I'm not saying I respect him. But I'm saying he's the only politician who's gone hell for leather to give the country what it wanted for.
Well, on the other side of the fence, Mr. Corbyn said over 30 years ago, I don't want to be a lifelong politician. And what happened?
Well, he still is.
Yeah, exactly. But there you go. I feel a lot for the people in the UK. I really do. I'm not particularly interested in political activists on the left or the right, because there's not enough of them to actually make a difference to the voting anyway. It's the public that have the problem, and I do sympathise with the public a great deal over the whole thing. So it's one of those difficult ones for the normal people, and let's just hope and pray it gets sorted out quickly so we can all move on. Hurricane Dorian has already come storming over to the US after absolutely destroying the Bahamas. The death rate there is climbing faster than we can keep up, to be very honest about it. And not only is the hurricane going across, but it's now creating tornadoes alongside itself.
Exactly, yeah. It's just terrible.
It's just, I mean, thank goodness it's the only thing we get here. Actually, Stefan will know. When was the last time we had an earthquake? Was it last year or the year before?
I think it was one last year.
Last year, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Then.
Yeah, last year it was.
I think so, yeah. We do get little earthquakes here, and that's because Poprad sits on what is one of the tectonic plates, which was the old European African one. And so that's hence why the mountains are here, because they went through the plates.
Yeah. And then one disappeared, didn't it?
Yes.
Oh, it didn't disappear, but the highest mountain went down. Out. Yeah, really interesting.
So it's the tectonic plates, and we sort of sit on them. And I think we've had about 5 or 6 since I've been here, and things do shake a bit, but they're sort of like 3s and 4s on the Richter scale, so nothing really dramatic, and nothing like the sort of problems they're going to have with Hurricane Dorian. I'm very proud of the British Royal Navy. They're already out there working in the Bahamas and taking water out to people and helping out a lot. So well done to the lads. Well done to the lads. Now, I like this judge a lot. This judge has got logic. This judge has got sanity. And this judge is actually he should be PM. He should be Prime Minister.
It's a very bizarre story. I sort of agree with you in a strange way. Is it really the parents' problem, though? Is it really the way...
If you let the child get out of control, it's your fault.
Yeah, but this one who we're talking about chopped the hand off another youth. Now, he attacked him with a knife, and he stabbed him, he attacked him, and he chopped his hand off. Now, is that really the bad upbringing, or is this lad just round the bend?
It's got to be bad upbringing.
Why can't it just round the bend? Why can't it just be evil?
We'll play a game now, because I like playing games. And it is quite interesting. And the strange thing is, Now it's not as pronounced because we've got more used to it. But when I first came to Slovakia, so I need Stefan's help. The fact is, if a teenager was drunk on the street corner and had messed themselves, shall we say, to keep it as clean as possible, and the policeman came along, they would actually cuff them round the ear, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it used to happen in Britain,
But it doesn't happen in Britain anymore because you can't.
No, I understand that.
And then what would happen with the youth then, Stefan?
Yeah, right now it's similar to how it is in UK.
What, you can't do that anymore?
Basically, after 16, police has really limited ways to actually deal with teenagers.
It's shocking.
But surely the question is, right, now we all agree, I'm sure we all agree, that parenting has taken a backseat in the lives of children. Teachers don't really do that much. The internet and games have taken over our children's lives. Now, parents should spend more time. This boy was apparently brought up in what was described as squalor, and he'd also had 27 previous offences, including 3 for knife possession. Now,
what on earth were these parents letting him take a knife in the house?
Well, maybe he didn't take it. Maybe he hid it in the bush. That's what people do. We had a story recently about the fact that a stash of knives was found in.
We've only got 10 minutes left.
Oh no!
Oh my God, we haven't done the news.
But just to finish, if this man is a recidivist, remember he's 19. No, he's not. He's 21.
21. He takes a 19-year-old. Yeah,
he's 21, and he's a recidivist. He's got a record as long as that bloke's arm was before he chops it off. Right now, if he commits that kind of crime and has so little caring for the human being, surely it's his psyche that needs investigating.
But the psyche, it can be so much influenced by a parent.
Yeah, but it can be equally influenced by games, by
film,
if
it's games,
by education.
Parents.
I know what you're saying. I don't disagree.
I mean, I was round at Stefan's house the other day, and I really respect what he did. And he's now thinking, "What the heck did I do?"
Yeah, I do. What did I do?
Well, his young son came round and said, "Could he please use the iPad?"
Yeah.
And it's a really nice iPad. Yeah. And Stefan, when I came back, because I think I was a very naughty boy and went out for a cigarette, as we came back in, Stefan was shouting to him, not in a nasty way, but shouting to him, "Your time's up."
Yeah.
And he's allowed 30 minutes, correct?
Yeah, 2 times for 30 minutes.
2 times a day?
Yeah.
So you've got
control,
But that's the way it should be.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that everything that goes wrong, like the knife crimes in Britain, are horrendous. And that doesn't all just boil down to parenting. It boils down to many other factors.
It
the
might
lack
do.
Of police, bad teaching. Yeah.
But the whole thing, it's like charity. Charity begins at home. Parenting
but
begins
not
at
everybody
home.
pays into a charity.
But parenting starts at home.
Of course it does.
And that's the biggest problem, that people have got to take responsibility rather than go, well, actually, we'll leave them on the games machine because it's an unpaid babysitter, or leave them on the computer, or let them walk around outside because somebody else will look after them.
Yeah.
It's got to stop. We didn't have that when we were kids. We weren't allowed to do it. You were told what to do, what time to be home, and you stuck to it.
But you were in the burgeoning of the television age,
Yes.
and radio and things like that. And it wasn't the same kind of intensity,
of course,
of fantasy life. We offer our children an incredible fantasy life.
I get that, but by the same token, we can still control it like Stefan does.
I'm saying, I'm not. But if every parent did that, it would become like a world of robots. That it would become a faceless society.
No, because the opposite. He's saying you're allowed 30 minutes, right?
Yes.
Right. Now, so that's an hour a day. So the rest of the time, he's got to do something else, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you take the games machines and the
Does he have a phone? Does he have a phone?
It doesn't matter. It's 2 times 30 minutes, any digital device.
Any right, there you are. There's the any digital device.
So the control is there.
Yeah.
And I think too many parents, especially in the UK, are scared not to do what they should. They should follow Stefan's lead.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's right, but I don't think you can put everything on all blame on the parents.
I agree with that, but you've got to stop the circle somewhere.
See, who has the children most of the time? Not the parents. It's the schools. Now, surely the blame should lie there.
What about the 13 weeks when they're not there?
Well, I don't know what the hours are. I've not added up the hours. But,
but
you're at school for 8 hours a day.
In the summer, you've got 13 weeks with no school, roughly.
No, 5.
No, where do you get 5
weeks?
It's more than 5.
No, in the summer you maybe get 13 weeks off over a year.
Oh, sorry, 13 weeks a year.
And
I apologise.
Then you've got weekends.
You see, that's how we were brought up, to apologise when we're wrong.
Yeah, you see, it's the first time he's ever done it.
Yeah, I know.
And but the teachers have our children to educate them, not to
educate.
Yeah, to educate them in every aspect of life. Right, for 40 hours a week. Surely a bulk of the blame has to lie there.
Well, they're soft as well, the teachers.
Of course they are.
I know, they're wimps.
Yeah.
New Zealand, I got crashed through some news in about a minute. New Zealand, the measles outbreak down there has gone to over 1,000 cases already, which is really, really dangerous.
And people are still saying we need to ban inoculation.
I know. Vegans and vegetarians may have a higher stroke risk. Yes, I agree, because they don't eat proper food. What do you expect? Flipping heck. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. In actual fact, my doctor said, what do you eat? So I said, a lot of steak, and Martina grimaced a bit. And he said, I don't know how you do it. Your cholesterol level's lower than mine, and he's only about 30. Thousands of people are going to a barbecue outside the home of a vegan who tried to sue the neighbours for eating meat. Tough luck.
Well, it's a bizarre story, isn't it? Yeah,
tough
steak. Yeah.
Tough. It's just tough.
No, but why? But for everybody to gang up on this, but this person is a complete idiot for trying to sue the neighbours.
He was trying to make
a point. Yeah, but to actually have a mob of people outside your house, which is got to be intimidating. Why go and dug a tree? Why go and intimidate somebody who's a bit daft?
Because obviously this idiot took their friend to friend to court, and they were being stupid. So
mob rule.
No, it's not mob rule. It's just they should just move. Just tell them to move.
Yeah, all you vegetarians move.
Yeah, go and live in a little island on your own. The US is lifting the ban on the old style light bulbs.
Yeah.
The incandescent ones, and that's probably because
you get them in cans now.
Yeah, very good. That's probably due to the fact that you can make them easier with the minerals and stuff they've got in the US without importing anything. Smart move.
Very clever.
Very, very clever indeed. Barbara Windsor was off to Downing Street this week to deliver a dementia petition. Good on you, Barbara.
And she looked good.
She did.
She was walking a bit bad because I think she got something wrong with her back.
She's allowed to at her age.
But she was intelligent and she came across very well and she was good.
Absolutely. Johnny Marr, Debbie, Harry got prizes at the AIM Awards.
Good on the old stuff.
A survey's been done to prove, as I've been saying on this programme for a long time, why mobile telephones are secret. The people claiming on the internet that they're listening into your phone, it's a load of rubbish. Total rubbish.
I'd like to expand on that at some stage.
We can do. And the great news for Stefan and I, a Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi, yeah.
A Raspberry
Pi. Like pies.
Raspberry Pi computer is actually looking down on the Earth and taking images of the planet as we speak.
How sweet.
Nice, they are. What are you up to this weekend, Stefan?
Well, I am packing up and going to Egypt to do some diving over there.
Ooh.
What, off the top of like a pyramid?
That would be nice. No.
Don't get smoking any camels.
No, water diving.
I nearly lost it there. Well, I hope you're going to do a Skype in from the hotel like before.
Oh, yeah, of course. Actually, I will be on board the entire week.
We can still do scope and a
Yeah,
bass.
we can.
Yeah, there's no stopping here at all. Oh, there you go. What are you up to, mate?
Well, actually, it's quite interesting. I'm going to a garden party. I've been invited to a garden party by our gardener.
By your gardener? Oh, the young lady?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
She's invited to a garden party.
You have very nice garden.
Yeah, very nice. It does have a nice
And
garden.
the garden lady is even prettier.
It could be on garden.
She's invited you to a garden party in your own garden.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me. That's one way of blagging somebody's garden. Nice move.
Yeah.
Very good indeed. Anyway, that's it from us for another week. Lovely to have all of you with us on whatever platform you were on. Have a very safe and careful week until next week. And don't forget, you can start off by just going, please and thank you. It costs you absolutely nothing. Teach that to your kids. It will do an awful lot of good. From Lee, Stefan and myself, have a great time. This is Radio Tatras International. That was Postcard from Poprad. And up next, it's the lovely Steve. Hey, what else can I tell you?
The Station of the Stars. RTI.